This one was directed by McGowan under his directorial pseudonym of Joseph Surf. Little bits of information like that are always good to have about a series. And if you need more information regarding the series, The Prisoner, you can write to 6 of 1, which is the Prisoner Appreciation Society, at 871 Clover Drive, North Wales, Pennsylvania, 19454. Make sure you send them a self-addressed stamped envelope, and they're going to send you back a free information kit, which is filled with articles, interviews, all the secrets of Patrick McGowan's secret sex life. They'll also answer, or try to answer for you, any questions you might have about the series, no matter how arcane, no matter what bit of minutiae you need to know. On the other hand, you could try and get a life or get an honest job. We're coming up on the next episode, which is number 12, Hammer into Anvil. We'll be back. You'll be back.
Welcome to
the Sci-Fi Channel.
We're coming up now on episode number 12, Hammer into Anvil. Part of a quotation from Goethe, who said, "In life you are either the hammer or the anvil." This is an extremely atypical segment, this one coming up. It is a mano-a-mano story in which a bully gets his comeuppance through the machinations of number 6, who for once does not spend his time trying to escape, but tries to get justice. Hammer into Anvil. Now, if you look closely in this last episode, Hammer into Anvil, you saw Humphrey Bogart doing one of his rare cameo appearances. It's very, very fleeting and very, very quick, but I think if you look back on it, you'll like it a lot. Now, we want you to pay close attention to number 2 in this one that just went by, which of course has gone by, so you can't pay attention to it. But the guy who played number 2 was an actor named Patrick Cargill, whom you saw earlier in the episode called Many Happy Returns. He was one of the British Home Office Secret Service flunkies, the one playing Thorpe, who didn't believe what number 6 had to say. And as a consequence, he was condemned to come back in this episode and get the crap kicked out of him by number 6. We're going away now, and we're going to go into our next episode, which is Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling.
Join us now at
Gesundheit. The next episode is a very interesting one. Of course, I say that about all of them. We want to hold on to you here. We don't want you rushing off to some other channel. But this one is kind of interesting because McGowan was almost totally unavailable for the shooting of this episode. He was off busily shooting the film based on Alistair MacLean's Ice Station Zebra, directed by John Sturges, which ranks up there with the all-time worst movies ever made. And so as a consequence, he was almost totally unavailable to do this show. We don't want to give too much away, but watch how they carefully finesse it here in Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling. Hi there. Welcome back. Still Harlan Ellison. Still the Prisoner Marathon. The episode you just saw was originally shot under the title Face Unknown. This has no great significance, but I just thought I'd drop it in here to give you the sense that you're getting some deep, significant information in the background. The next episode that we're going to be doing, that's if Uncle Wiggily doesn't fall into the chamber pot and get himself flushed down into the ocean, is going to be what? I can't remember the title of it, but someone I'm sure will tell me. What is the title of the next one? It's called Living in Harmony. Do enjoy.
Enter.
Come now to episode 14, Living in Harmony. This one was not only produced by David Tomlin, because he was the producer, it was also written and directed by David Tomlin. This was his baby. And this one is a corker. You're going to like this one a lot. Does anyone use the phrase corker anymore? Well, perhaps I'm too old. It's a killer. It was cool. You'll love it. This one was so controversial that they could not air it in America in 1968. They showed it in England in 67, but in 1968, a television show in which someone would not wear a gun during the time of Vietnam was considered no-no. There's also a lot about hallucinatory drugs in this. It's a very interesting show, very controversial, and it has been seen here since, but not in its entirety. We now show it to you in its entirety. Episode 14, The Prisoner, Living in Harmony. The actor who played the kid, Alexis Canner, will return. His performance was apparently so affecting to McGowan that he insisted that he be written into several more episodes. And you'll see him in the very next one, which is called The Girl Who Was Death. Now, that was in the 60s. Today we would say The Woman Who Was Death, or The Ms. Girl Who Was Death, or The Person Who Was Death. Actually, you're not allowed to say dead anymore, so we would probably have to say livingly challenged. In any case, we're coming up now on episode 14, 15, something like that. I've been here so long, I've forgotten my own name. My own name. Do come back. Girl Who Was Death, episode 15. This one is kind of interesting because even though McGowan had done Danger Man, a.k.a. Secret Agent, he kept denying, and he still does deny, depending on what his mood is, I suppose, that number 6 is actually John Drake, the secret agent from Secret Agent. He kept saying, no, it's a different person entirely. And yet, in this episode, I believe it's in the cricket match, you'll see a man in a bowler, and they hired an actor named John Drake. And it's quite clear that throughout the series that the character of John Drake was used as the template for number 6. Earlier in Free for All, for instance, when you see the placards vote for number 6, they used photos of John Drake. And the photo that's always dropped into the bin at the opening credits, that's a photo of John Drake from Secret Agent. So this episode is one of those dichotomous interludes, and I think you'll enjoy it very much. We're nearing the end of the marathon and of me as well. We only have another couple of hours. So sit back and enjoy episode 15, The Girl What Was Dead. The Girl Who Was Death. Life in the village. It's a lot like this. It's like a maze, but there may not be a way out. We're coming now to the last 2 episodes. These 2 were intended as the culmination of the plot. You will learn everything you wish to know. In fact, you'll learn more than you wish to know. Please come back. What you've been waiting for is about to happen. The solution to the puzzle of the village. The last 2 episodes of The Prisoner. We're rounding the last turn. We're heading into the straightaway, going down to the finish line. These are the last 2 episodes. Now, you may think that these 2 were shot back-to-back. They were not. There was 6 months in between. The first one is called Once Upon a Time, which is a great dopey title. The original title of this was Degree Absolute, and it is a perfect title for it. I want you to forget the title Once Upon a Time. Remember Degree Absolute. Leo McKern returns as number 2 in this, and it is a bravura performance. This is one of the nicest sustained bits of acting between McGowan and one of his compatriots, as you will see in the entire series. Take a look at these episodes. Look at the way they're shot. It took about 6 weeks to shoot one of these, which was a long time for television. Usually a television episode is shot in a week, 10 days max. These things were very expensive, and they were shot absolutely beautifully. Watch carefully, because we're coming into the explanation of what it's all about in the village. I'm not saying you're going to understand anything, but this is what passes for the explanation. We come now to Degree Absolute, no matter what they call it. Episode 16, The Prisoner. How about that? You like that one? Number 2 is dead. Leo McKern is dead. Number 6 is about to meet number 1. Both of these episodes, both the one you just saw, Degree Absolute, and the one that's coming up, Fallout, which is the finale, were written and directed by McGowan. They are his answer to all of the questions of the allegories. Now, this is probably one of the reasons that Markstein left the series, because it gets more and more surreal as it goes along, more and more science fictional, which is why you're seeing it on this channel. It gets more and more weird, and this episode is so weird that if it were a person, it would probably be Timothy Leary. So we want you now to watch the final episode of The Prisoner, Fallout.
Alien Nation.
My name is Harlan Ellison, in case those of you who were here earlier have died and come back in a different form, possibly as Shirley MacLaine. This is the last episode. This one is called Fallout. Now, in this one, you will probably be more confused than you were when you came into the show. It's supposed to be the solution. But in fact, McGowan never really wanted there to be an explanation. He wanted to be strange and open-ended. Leo McKern is dead. We think. He may not be dead. Number 6 may not be number 6. Number 1 may not be number 1. You may not be who you were 17 hours ago. Watch. This is the last episode. We'll be back afterward. But now, Fallout. And so, the saga of the prisoner comes to an end. Maybe. Maybe not. You'll notice the way the door to the apartment closed and opened. Just the way it did in the village. I don't think there's an ending here. I think it's an ongoing. Leo McKern is not going to wind up in the House of Lords. That strange little man with the flower in his hat is not going to get to a safe haven hitchhiking on the Autobahn or wherever he was. And the prisoner, even if he goes inside his old apartment with the butler, played by Mr. Muscat, does not look as if he's safe. No openings, no closings, no openings, no closings. No beginning, no end. It is a Laoconian serpent swallowing its own tail. I think that's what we're intended to think of it, that it's just like life. It has no beginning, it has no end. It just keeps chugging on down. But in any case, you've seen all of the episodes of this most extraordinary television series. It had an enormous impact when it was first aired, and it continues to have an impact 25 years later, not only because of the exuberant acting and the brilliant scripting and the excellent direction, but because it has a universality, a feel to it. It talks to the paranoid in all of us, the conspiracy theory loony in all of us. And for those of you who are real conspiracy loonies, we suggest that you can write for more information about The Prisoner. And you can write to 6 of 1. That's the Prisoner Appreciation Society. It's filled with articles. It's got interviews, newspapers, bits of fish head. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. No home should be without it. They'll also answer for you any of the weird questions that you want to ask them about, like, why was there an 8 mask inside the black and white mask inside number 1? And why does number 1 look like Patrick McGowan, who is fighting number... Don't ask me. I don't work here anymore. My time is done. 20 hours is more than enough. I'll answer all your questions. Other than that, be seeing you.